Hello, everyone, again. For those of you who don't know me, my name is Adela, and I'm a branding and strategy consultant focusing on creative and passion driven businesses. Today, we're going to talk about a point that most of us struggle with, which is how to price your product. Creative people struggle to put a price tag to the product for some specific reasons. Um, First one is normally when you are actually turning your passion into a job, you actually enjoy doing this. And somehow along the way, we got the idea that we are supposed to hate our job, that job is not supposed to be something pleasurable, that it's supposed to be something that sucks away life from you, right? So it somehow feels wrong to be asking money for something that you're actually enjoying. But this is a mindset that we need to change. What you produce is supposed to bring value to somebody else. And if you enjoy doing that, well, all the better. Another reason might be that we might think that creativity is not a valid skill, that is not a productive skill. So creative jobs are not real jobs. Again, this is something that we need to unlearn. Creativity is a fantastic skill and a fantastic talent that cannot be taught, or it's very difficult to be taught. So it should be valued and it should be celebrated. Another reason that many of us struggle is like when you are turning your passion into a product, it still feels very personal. It still feels very intimate. It's like you're selling a part of yourself, right? And it somehow feels wrong. But this is a mindset that again we need to change, because the moment that you are building a business, then you're selling products and this becomes a product. It might feel uncomfortable at the beginning to start thinking about that, something that you feel so close to your heart, as a product. But it is a process that you're going to have to go through if you really want to turn this into a business. Things you should take into consideration, or things you can use to come up with the price for your product. Number one, obviously, are costs. How much does it cost you to be able to get this product or this service to the customer? Now, when we're talking about costs, we talk about fixed costs and variable costs, and you need to consider both. Now, fixed costs are those who do not vary depending on how much products you produce or how much services you provide. Things like, for example, your rent, maybe the average of your telephone bill, the internet, your assistant's salary, the electricity in your store, things like this. And the variable costs are the ones directly related to producing or delivering one individual product. So these are materials, of course, production costs, of course, as well, your shipping, maybe, your taxes, and as well your man hours. This is very important. And most of creative entrepreneurs that I talk to do not account for the man hours when they're starting. I understand you are so passionate about this. You don't mind working and you are not paying yourself a salary. Okay, that's fine. You're just starting, and most businesses do not bring any profit for the first months of activity. This is normal. However, you cannot build a profitable business going forward if the price of your product does not account for the human effort that it requires to make it. So even if you're not going to be paying yourself a salary right now, and whatever money you make is going to be reinvested on the business, the price of your product should reflect those hours and how much do you value those hours in. Second one, also very important, is the value. The value are the benefits that your product is bringing to the customer. What solution is this bringing? Which problem is it solving? And by doing so, how is improving their life? Ideally, you should be able to find a hard value for your product. When I talk about hard value, I mean quantifiable, undeniable benefits. Does it save them money? Does it save them time? Does it provide a solution for a problem that didn't have a solution before? Then we also have the perceived value. Perceived value is something more psychological. Those things that make your product seem more valuable and more desirable but are not necessarily quantifiable. This is important because we can convey perceived value, and this will make the customer be happy of paying a little bit more. So a very good branding and a very good marketing, or a very good design of your website and your packaging and your product gives an impression of prestige and gives an impression of being current and modern that automatically makes the product seem more valuable, even if it's just the same, right? Just imagine you take this pair of shoes and they are in like a ragged and dirty box in the middle of a dark, dusty store, or you take these shoes and you put them on a beautiful packaging in a very fancy shopping mall in a rotating platform in the middle with lights going on. So the product is exactly the same, but the perceived value of one is going to be much more than the other. Another very important thing you should consider is your competition, especially when you're starting. One of the first things you should be doing when you're starting a business is go out and research the competition. Research everything you can about them, their product architecture, their marketing strategies, and as well their price architecture. You need to make sure that the way you price your product makes sense within the market value, and how do you want to position yourself. Maybe you're trying to position yourself as a product which is inexpensive but has very good quality. Then ideally you should see different players on your segment and see those that are considered very good quality and make sure that your price is below those of them. Maybe on the other side, you're trying to sell your product as premium. You say it's better quality or it's more special because it's sustainable or because it's handmade or because every piece is unique or it's made to measure. Then you cannot price it lower than something that is machine made and store bought. Another important thing that you should consider when you're pricing your products is your customer's profile. When you're coming up with your business plan and your brand idea, you should also really think about your customer persona, your customer profile. And one of the important points that we think about when you're building this profile is our customers' shopping habits. How much disposable income do they have? How do they like to spend it? How much can they spend on a particular product or service? If you build this fantastic product, but the customer you're directing it towards cannot afford it, then this is a big problem. And then finally, you need to think about the future. You need to think about your growth plans. This is your company now, and this is the cost that you have now. But what are your plans for the future? Because maybe in 6 months from now, 1 year from now, you are going to grow, and then this growth is going to come with an increased cost or a different structures of cost, and you should be able to visualize this. For example, let's say you're doing accessories by hand and you are starting to do them from your home, but eventually you would like to have an atelier, and this is going to require you to rent some space, right? So this is going to be an increased cost. You need to make sure that the increased volume of orders is going to allow you to keep a similar or higher margin than you had when you started. Because it doesn't make sense to make less money when you're growing, now does it? So to recap, you need to come up with a price that covers your costs, including your man hours, and leaves a profit. You need to have a price that reflects the value, both hard and perceived, of your product. You need to have a price that positions you where you want to be within your competition. You want to have a price that your customer can afford, and you want to have a price that you can sustain in the future. I hope this all makes sense. If you have any questions, please ask me in the comments. I will be more than happy to reply them. Or you can also reach out to me through any of our social media channels. If you like this, please give it a thumbs up. And remember that we're going to be releasing a new video every week. So don't forget to subscribe if you don't want to miss any of this. Thank you once again for watching, and see you next week.